Live breaking news, Nez Nation. Today, the Georgia State Senate Committee held a meeting with whistleblower Amanda Timpson. You guys remember that audio recording that was made where she tried to warn our girl, Cash Money G, Fani Willis, who, she's for the people. She does everything on the up and up. I don't engage in anything unlawful. They're coming after me, even though they're coming after me for false reasons, as she told Mad Cow Disease, Rachel, in an interview very recently. Today, what a news day today. We got our Trump Bronx rally tonight. Holy macadamia nut. I can't even keep up. It's insanity. I'm going to share with you the key testimony, whistleblower who can actually corroborate that our girl, Cash Money G, I can't do a damn thing right, Willis, actually stole money, actually misappropriated taxpayer-funded money and dollars away from youth programs and basically stole forfeiture funds. And so we're going to listen to this testimony from Amanda Timpson, who's joined with her lawyer. This was action-packed. There's our guy right there, Senator Bill Cousert. I love his accent, his Georgia drawl. He is going to be asking very directly. It was a long 2-hour, 3-hour meeting today. This is the real highlight where he asks her directly, tell us about that federal grant money and how Cash Money G dipped her little creepy, crawly, crooked hands in it. Check this out.
Well, as 2021 begins, you're in your new role that has the same duties and more, and you're now reporting to Michael Cuffey instead of Paul Howard.
Correct.
Did you notice any irregularities or problems with the administration of this OJJDP grant?
Yes. In early March of 2021, after a lot of the administrative work was done on the grant, we need to now get to work. And so Michael Cuffey, who is the new Chief Programs Officer, invited myself and my colleague, who also co-wrote the grant, into a meeting just so he could understand the scope of the grant. In this meeting, this was the first time that he kind of mentioned what he wanted to spend the grant on, and he articulated that he wanted to spend the grant on computers, travel, and swag. And at the time, we were saying swag because there was a lot of rebranding going on. And so, like, each unit now had their own sweaters and their own mugs and stuff. And there was a complete and total rehaul of the building and stuff. So this idea of having swag was like a big thing. So those are the three things.
Trinkets. These are pins and coffee cups and T-shirts and sweatshirts, things promoting the new district attorney?
Correct.
Okay.
And really quickly, I apologize, I forgot to mention this, just in case you're not up to speed. Amanda Timpson, you may be saying, who is this? She was the Deputy Junior District Attorney who worked in Cash Money G's Fani Willis's office, the District Attorney office, back in 2022. And so, I'm sorry, back in 2021. And so when she brought it up to Cash Money G that, hey, there's something going on here and you need to be aware of this. This is illegal. This is wrong. This is unethical. What did Cash Money G do? She fired her.
So I quickly kind of interjected and let him know that those were not things that we could do with the grant. At that point, it seemed as if he hadn't read the grant narrative, and so I just wanted to educate him. I was a bit concerned, but at that point, it was the first time I had heard of it. I just tried to kind of set him straight and tell him, like, oh, we can't do that. It's really specific, and it's specific to programming. We can't buy any equipment, and that was a huge thing because in the grant narrative, in the grant budget, it says specifically no equipment, and so his idea for wanting to get computers and even pay for travel, like, those are completely out of the scope of the grant.
Okay. And you know that because you wrote the grant?
Correct.
And in the grant plan, you tell how the money is going to be spent?
Correct.
And in the budget, you identify how it's intended to be spent?
Correct.
Did any of those documents provide for spending money on swag?
No.
Did any of those documents provide for spending money on computers or other equipment?
No, sir.
Did any of those documents or budgets provide for money to be spent for travel?
No.
Okay. And how about on the junior DA grant? I think we called that the JAG grant. Were you continuing to administer that in March of 2021?
Yes.
And did you notice or detect or hear about any intentions to improperly spend that money?
Not in March, but as time went on, yes.
So what happened when you straightened Michael Cuffey out and after he had told you his intentions of how he intended to spend the money, you told him that was illegal? What was his reaction?
Initially, he let me know that it was the employees in the DA's office call Miss Willis Madam, so he let me know that it was Madam's vision, and
it was Madam's vision. I mean, remember, guys, keep this in context too. I apologize. I'm not going to interject a lot, and there's only a couple more minutes of this, but remember what I said. If this is how her absolute lack of decorum, her absolute lack of professionalism, if this is how Cash Money G acts in front of cameras, the disqualification hearing, the church speech, the interview with Rachel Mad Cow Disease, and all these other appearances where she says the Trump train is coming. They think they can stop me, but they can't. Oh, now we got to answer to daddy. As soon as there's a black DA, we got to answer to daddy. If that's how she acts in front of the cameras, Amanda Timpson, who we might actually get on the show, by the way, so stick around, make sure you subscribe. Amanda Timpson, can you imagine how she treated her staff, her office, her employees, everybody, her collaborators, her colleagues who worked with her when there were no cameras on? Holy mackerel.
I basically said, okay, I understand that, but that's not what the grant says. And as the director of the grant, I wanted to make sure that I was careful and clear what the grant said. And this grant was written prior to her coming in the office. I assumed at the time that maybe they just weren't aware, but I just wanted to make him aware that that is not what the grant says.
Okay. And did you hear further conversations about the misuse of the money, or did he follow your advice and not spend it on swag and travel and equipment?
So initially, that was just the initial time. I continued to be persistent and to let him and everybody else know that we could not spend the grant in that manner. And he persisted to say that that was what we were going to do with the grant. In weekly meetings, we had weekly program team meetings. He would say that, so it was multiple people that, heard his intentions to spend this money that way. And I was just persistent in letting him know that that was not what we could do. And I noticed as I persisted to let him know that my treatment drastically started to change. Yes, specifically from Michael Cuffey, in the form of being disinvited to meetings or being blatantly rude, or when I said, hey, we can't do that, just staring directly into my eyes and then just walking off. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't know, if this was an intimidation factor or what was going on, but I just knew I had to stand my ground because I was, fearful of the misuse of funds.
Okay. Well, so the story ends there, or did you continue your complaints?
No, I continued my complaints. Ultimately, in May of 2021, the overwhelming retaliation and pushback got so bad, I sent an email to Miss Willis and I told her that I had followed the chain of command to no avail and I really needed to speak with her. At this time, I believed that she had no idea what was going on, and I wanted to make her aware of what I saw to be a potentially illegal and dangerous situation, and I didn't want there to be any scandal related to her administration.
You sent that directly to her?
I did.
Did she reply?
She did not.
Okay.
Well, she did reply. She replied in absolutely ruining Miss Timpson's career, firing her, literally after only, 30 minutes of talking to the compliance officer, which I'm going to bring up in another video. There is so much jam-packed, suffocating corruption oozing out of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, headed by Madame Cash Money G. I think that I kind of like that. That's kind of, let me know in the let me know in the comments if you like that new nickname for her. Madame. No, we call her Madame. Madame Cash Money G. Should that be my new nickname? Let me know in the comments. There's so much more. There's so much more corruption. Not only did she find out that this federal grant money was being, I mean, for crying out loud, this is supposed to go for kids. You're going to spend it on laptops and swag? I mean, you guys are so slimy, awful to kids. This is supposed to be federal grant money going to youth programs. You claim, and she just won a landslide election. And I guarantee you none of her constituents even know about this stuff. You were supposed to be all about the people. You kept advocating that on the campaign trail. In your $1 trillion ad, God knows how expensive that ad was, that film trailer directed by Steven Spielberg, it seemed like, that we talked about in our last live stream. And you funneled that money to get yourself swag and new MacBooks, technical equipment, vacations, travel. I mean, where does the corruption end? Where does it end? So there's so much more that I'm going to share, but I had to get this video out because this testimony just happened. Literally, it just happened. They just ended the hearing minutes ago. I had to get this out to you, but there's more to come. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe. The best thing you can do is be a Nez Nation Insider. What's that, Nez? That's our free newsletter. It's in the pinned comment, in the show notes, and in the description of this video, this show. All you got to do is click on the link, give us your best email, and boom, you'll never miss out on another video, news, breaking that mainstream media won't cover right to your inbox. So make sure that you subscribe to that in the pinned comment, in the show notes, and description. I love you guys so much. Stick around. We got so much more to come. This Senate hearing is not going to end. I'm your one-stop shop for Cash Money G and all the corruption surrounding the Trump Georgia case, the election interference case with our boy, the Pitbull Sadow, Cash Money G, Nathan American Pie. Oh, by the way, Nathan American Pie Wade just had a new interview with MSNBC. I'm going to bring you that scoop on that too, so stick around. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? What do you think of what's happening here? What do you think of Amanda Timpson? What do you think of what she said about when she tried to bring it up? How her people treated her differently, etc., etc. So much more to come out. I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below. Check out these videos right here. They are absolutely phenomenal. Subscribe and follow down there. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.